Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm from Muvizu, and today I want to talk to you about using a camera output as a texture within Muvizu. So, let's go over to the computer and get started. Step 1. We want to create a backdrop. There's a few different types of backdrop that we can choose from, but the widescreen one I think works the best. Now, what we want to do is position the backdrop in front of the camera, so the only thing the camera can see is the backdrop. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap at the top there, so let's just adjust the camera and we'll just tweak the position of the backdrop a bit. And now we want to edit it. Go to the skies category, select the fluffy clouds texture, and then we want to give it a little bit of speed so that the clouds look like they're drifting along. So not too much, just a little. We can also illuminate it very bright or quite dim. Somewhere in the middle I think is going to work the best. We could change the angle as well, but I don't think we need to for the clouds. So there you go, that's step 1. Step 2. What we want to do now is to put the camera output onto the sky dome. So go to Edit Environment, go to the texture icon, and then go to the cameras category and select camera 1. Step 3. Let's edit the camera. There's a lot of good effects on the cameras themselves that can help us customize the way that the sky looks. The first one is the focus distance and depth of field. This gives a sort of blurring to different parts of the camera output. So what we probably want to do is just to try and soften the edges of the clouds a bit. So somewhere around here seems quite good. It's not too blurred, but just softened around the edges. There is also a lot of base effects. There's black and white, sepia, colour tint, and there is also negative. I think what we can use here is the colour tint, and let's set this to a light blue just to try and bring out some of the blue in the sky. And we could also use some of the overlay effects as well if we wanted to. Camera shake could be quite useful, set to quite low intensity to give a little bit extra movement to the clouds. But let's just keep going. We could use pixelated or CCTV. It gives a bit of a graininess to the film. Underwater, or we could even try the image overlay. We've also got the contrast, colour and brightness settings, which if we play around with them we can see the image changes. Now I think this is quite good, having a high contrast. It just gives a bit more vibrancy to the sky. And so there you have it. We now have a moving sky, and step 3 is complete. Step 4. Now we want to do the ground, so we want to create a new backdrop. But rather than create a new one, we're just going to copy and paste the first one because it has a lot of the properties already set that we want to use. The first thing we want to do is import our own texture. I've already got a wave or a water texture, which is importing now, and as you can see it's quite a different look. So what we want to do is just adjust some of the properties, a wee bit brighter, darker, a wee bit brighter, and we can change the angle this time, so we'll just change that around a bit. Okay, there, that seems to be good. So that's it. That's our backdrop set up now to be used as a texture to project onto the ground. Step 5. What we could have done is just went to create and camera and had a new one right in front of our view, but we just went ahead and copied and pasted camera 1 because a lot of the options are already set on it, so it will make things a little bit quicker. Again, we just need to position the camera so that it is looking completely at the backdrop. So go back to Edit Environment, go to Ground, Textures, Cameras, and select Camera 2. and there you can see the camera output is on the ground. Now, the only problem is that we have a bit of the sky showing through at the top of the backdrop. And that's the first step of this setting up the ground stage right. Now what we want to do is edit the camera. Update the properties of it so that it works better for water. So again, we'll just adjust the focal distance and depth of field just to get it right for the new texture and the camera. And let's keep it at a colour tint. Try a few different darker and lighter options, but that seems quite good. Let's just change the colour a little bit. You can obviously use any colour that you want. Now we could go ahead and use the underwater effect that is available on the camera, but there's a bug in Muvizu at the moment which leaves a border around the projected image. So we're going to have to try and use a workaround method, which we'll show you more in the next step. What we might want to do is apply a little bit of camera shake just to give some wobbliness to the image that's projected. We can have a look at the contrast, colour and brightness options. As you can see, we can change these just to get it a bit more blue. So there is step 5 complete. Step 6. The final stage in setting up the water is we want to use the heat haze effect rather than the underwater camera filter. This way we can add an extra level of wobbliness without having to use the camera effect, which leaves a border around the tile on the ground. So let's just position the heat haze in front of the camera. Now it's a little bit difficult to see the actual effect of it, so we'll just get this into the right position, and what we'll do is then have a look at the camera properties and see if we can turn off the other effects in order to show you exactly what the heat haze effect is doing. Now what we'll do is move the heat haze out of the way, and now we've put it back in, so you can see the wobbliness effect that it gives. And so we'll just put the camera shake intensity up a little bit, and that's us finished. We now have clouds moving across the sky and water rippling across the ground. So that's how to do sky and water in Muvizu. Have a go yourself and post a video reply of how you've done it. Or you could check out these videos which use the technique, or watch my last video. Thanks for watching.